KVNU Game Day continues with Aggie Call. Your chance to talk about today's game. Sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Castelite, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and LSS Insurance. KVNU Game Day with Al Lewis and John Russell.
7-point loss by the Aggies tonight at Fresno State. The final is 61-54. That is the widest margin of the game that the Aggies were behind in the game. John Russell with me, Al Lewis. And, John, it's a different scenario than we have seen in the other Aggie games. The Aggies led this game for a lot of the game, played very well in the first half, and then couldn't do anything in the second half to lose tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly my thought is, unfortunately, Aggies find a different way to lose tonight. Tough game because they looked so good in the first half, just fell apart in the second half.
They really did. Justin Bean had a tough night. He's had 2 straight games now. He hasn't shot like he was shooting, 6th or 7th in the nation shooting the ball. Fresno made extra effort on him. And then the Aggies just went into a horrible funk with turnovers in the second half, just took them out of any chances to have more shots in the game, and then they didn't shoot it as well. But again, and they did not let Robinson really go off on him, except he did other plays. He made plays. He passed for 3 big 3-point shots that gives Fresno 9 points, and they win by 7. What do you think about that?
Well, he just, we came into this game looking for him to be kind of an offensive force. Aggies did a great job on him defensively. He didn't shoot the ball well, but he was a force in the paint, and he made smart passes like you're just saying, and that's the difference right there.
And then he'd get 2 guys around him, and there'd be somebody open. Jalen Moore joins with us. Jalen, appreciate you joining with us tonight after the game. Another Aggie loss, like we said, different scenario. But, again, just, boy, did the Aggies play well in the first half, and it wasn't the same team in the second half.
Yeah, it really wasn't. And it's tough because, like you said, our team looked so good in the first half. We got up by, I think, 16 at some points.
You did.
And we were on pace. They were making teams score under 59 points, and we were on pace to score more than that, which would have been a really big key to winning the game. And came out the second half, and our team just didn't look the same. It's really tough. We got to figure it out from the three-point line. It's so hard when you shoot below 25% nowadays in basketball to win. And, this game we had 15 turnovers. We get out-rebounded. When you really go and look at the team stats, there's just a few areas where, but they're crucial areas where our team has to get better.
We had 24 points in the paint in the first half of this game. We ended up with 32. When you're going for 2 for whatever it is for the whole game, 2 for 12 from 3 tonight, when you're doing that, why don't you keep getting inside the paint? Did Fresno do something different to make it harder for the Aggies to score in the paint second half?
Yeah, I think they changed a little bit of their defense. I thought that more of their wings and guards were in the gap a little bit more. I just felt like the physicality got ramped up as well, and we just didn't, we didn't respond very well to that. We needed to, like you said, continuously keep driving the ball, but also at the same time when you're shooting a low percentage from threes, it's a little bit easier. Teams can adjust to guarding the inside play, inside the three-point line and stuff like that when your team's not shooting that great from the three-point line.
Jalen, Aggies just did a good job on Robinson, kept him kind of off balance throughout the game offensively. What did you see happen there? And Trevin, Dorius, good game tonight for him.
Yeah, Trevin's one of the real stars of the game.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I really did. I thought Trevin stood out. I thought his defense was good. I thought Horvath and his defense was really, really good on Orlando Robinson, especially a guy coming from the week he had last week. They did a job, holding him to 11. Gives yourself the best chance. If you have 2 other guys outscoring Robinson and you lose the game, you thought you had a really good chance to win the game. So that's a highlight. Horvath and Dorius, what they did defensively was a highlight for the game. And Dorius just in general off the bench was.
Yeah, solid performance from him. And if he hadn't played as well as he did, I hate to see where we would have been in the second half. As a player, this is a rough stretch for the Aggies. They've played in games, they've gotten way behind, they've come back in this game up big early, like you said, 16 points. Is it starting to get into their minds? Does it?
Yeah, it does a little bit at this point, and it's hard because, like me and Al said, I bet we are one of the teams with the hardest stretch of games to open up this conference play, and it's one game after another, whether it's a win or a loss, and you go back and you play another good team. You turn around and we play Boise State, who's at the top of the conference on Thursday now, and so, like you said, it's frustrating and it's hard as a player. And it really takes its toll on you. But the best thing to do is, you got to wake up, you got to move on to the next day, and there's another game waiting to be played. And I think our team is going to accept that challenge, but we just have to make those changes quick because it's not going to get much easier for us as well.
Jalen, I did your keys to the game before the game tonight, and here's what I came up with. I said you got to control Robinson, which the Aggies did offensively with numbers. Now, he did make some really terrific passes that hurt the Aggies with assists tonight, so maybe you didn't control him as much as it looks offensively, even though he only scored 11. Okay. I said it's Horvath's game tonight. We got to have a game from Horvath offensively and defensively. And we got it in the first half, and we didn't get it in the second half from Brandon. Brandon is a guy that looked like in the first half he was starting to be relaxed and get some things done, and he did play good defense in the first half and didn't do anything in the second half of this game.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like you said, he had 9 and I think he almost had 9 and 6 in the first half. He really didn't.
He had 9 and 3 in the first half. He got 3 rebounds in the second half. That's it.
Yep, and so, like you said, you give him credit on the defensive end. I really did think he did a good job defensively on Robinson by not letting him score, 20-plus points. And you have to give credit to Robinson. He's the one that made the passing plays, but, Horvath's defense was good. I'm looking, like we said, we need that Horvath from the beginning of the season to just relax, shooting a really high percentage from 3. And when he was doing that, he was able to make plays for his teammates by putting the ball on the floor and driving it to the rim, as well as making driving kicks. But like we said, when the team as a whole and players individually aren't shooting as well, that option of, closing out hard to the three-point shooters is kind of taken away.
And he did take it to the basket in the first half and make some plays that way, and he did make 1 3 in the first half. And I said, I think we've got to make 7 or 8 threes at least was my other key. The reason, because of how Fresno plays defense, they are really going to pressure you, like you said, getting towards the paint and in the gaps. And the Aggies actually took advantage of that in the first half and didn't have to shoot threes. Then all of a sudden, in the second half, they shoot a bunch of threes. They go 1 for 8 in the second half from 3. When you are shooting under 20% as a team in conference play, you almost have to now say, let's not shoot any threes, guys, the way it's going right now.
Yeah, they have to, you have to figure it out. And like everybody knows, basketball is played so differently now that the three-point line changes so many things for your team offensively and even making teams guard you defensively. And we just have to figure it out. We have to shoot. We got to get our percentage up. We got to get it by at least 30%. That's where you can at least be a little bit of a threat. And then we know we take that hit from the three-point line when you lose Brock for probably the whole month. And so we got to get better. 2 for 12 is just not going to cut it, and we got to get more guys shooting it consistently and efficiently.
Yeah, Brock has definitely missed right now because, again, he does have a chance when he plays to make a three-point shot. And Jalen, Boise is really hard to score on, too. Watching the Air Force Boise game tonight, Boise pulled it out again. 62-56 was the final. Boise's won 10 straight games when they come here on Thursday night. And so we will talk to you Thursday night. We'll get you about 6 o'clock, okay?
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Jalen Moore joining with us, and Aggie Game Day is on post-game. Jalen brought to you tonight by White Pine Funeral Services. Again, they have help with affordable, high-quality services, headstones, pre-planning, and more. Again, the great services. Again, it looks like they're getting close to getting something set up here where we're going to be able to talk to maybe a player or a coach after the game. And so it looks like I'm going to, before I take the break here, just want to make sure that everything is going that direction towards that. It looks like they're setting up the Zoom. We'll take a quick timeout for a sponsor announcement, and maybe we'll have to cut it off, but we'll be right back.
Cache Valley Bank's newest branch is now open in Preston. I'm Lance Zollinger, and I'm excited to announce Cache Valley Bank is now open inside Stokes Marketplace. If you're an existing customer, you'll love the convenience. If you're not a customer, we'd love to have you open a new account with us, or even talk with us about a loan for your farm or business. Cache Valley Bank, a community bank where decisions are still made locally, now open in Preston. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
Hi, this is Bob Larson with LSS Insurance. Are you confused by TV commercials telling you all that you're missing from your Medicare coverage? These national ads are offered by people you will never hear from again and are only interested in selling you something. Let us answer your questions and show you in detail your Medicare options. We're your local agent, here to help throughout the year. Please call 752-9493. Why not take advantage of every benefit available? Come see us or call 752-9493.
Advanced Heating and AC, the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah, is teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you with the best furnace units available. And now is the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and AC and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Stop by at their showroom west of DI. Online, advancedheating-ac.com.
KVNU Game Day is back with Aggie Call. Call 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Yeah, we'll have those phone lines available. It looks like we're getting close to either player or coach after the game from the Save Mart Center in Fresno. 61-54. Utah State loses the game. They led 31-21 at the half, and it shot 58%. In the second half, they shoot 7 for 21 in the second half. And like Jalen mentioned, the Aggies get out rebounded in this game. They led the rebounds by 3 at the half, and they did commit, I think it was 8 or 9 turnovers in the second half of this game. John, I mean, it was just it was a total one half to the next half. It was like, okay, and then Fresno played even better than maybe eventually we played in the first half. They were 16 points behind on their home floor. But when you're on your home floor and you're down 16, it's a lot different than when you're on the road down 16. The Aggies have been in that spot too. Yeah. But 29-13 was the score with 3:39 left to play in the first half, and then they went on an 8-0 run before Jones made a jumper at the end of the first half to make it a 10-point game. That's really where the game was really decided, because then they kept the momentum going second half.
Yeah, exactly. And you can gloat and say, "Oh, we were up by 10 on the road at half." The reality is they had already started their move back. Fresno, that is, they had already moved back to get in the lead. Good run to end the half,
and then they start the second half 9-3. So it's 17-3. Yeah. Over that period of time.
Yeah, and that's just a killer right there. And I think that that the Fresno team coming in at half, they were excited to only be down by 10.
Okay, it looks like we're getting a player in here now, so we'll go to the Save Mart Center. Looks like it's going to be Trevin Dorius, who we did talk to last year when we were there.
Recording in progress.
Yep, here we go.
All right, everybody, we have junior center Trevin Dorius. Trevin will give us thoughts on the game, and then we'll have questions here for the media, and then we'll go to Zoom.
It's free reign, right?
Yeah.
That's a good team. Defensively, they got a lot of rim protection with Orlando Robinson, and you got to give him a lot of credit for what he did. He affected our shots. And not only did he affect us on defense, he affected us on offense. He was able to bring in a couple guys and kick it out for threes. Going to get better, come back tomorrow to practice and get ready for Boise.
Couldn't have asked for a better start.
Yeah.
Really come out, really ready to play. But it seemed like it was a different kind of team than it's been lately.
Yeah. We came out playing our type of basketball. We were sharing the ball. We weren't settling for the shots that the defense wanted us to settle for. And, the results kind of spoke for themselves. We went into the half up 10, but wasn't enough.
You knew they'd make some adjustments. What was the biggest difference from the first half to the second half?
From them?
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. They came out. I feel like after the first half, we had momentum, and then we came in the second half slower than we would have liked. Had a couple turnovers that led to quick points, and energy just kind of started lifting up for them. wasn't in the locker room for them, and I don't know what specific changes they made, but they played well.
This is another tough one. You guys just seem to be right there in every conference game. How do you, like you said, you got to pick yourself up and be ready to play Boise in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, we take games like these, and pretty much every single conference game has been decided by one or two possessions, but we watch the film, we learn from it, move on to the next game. Don't hold anything back, and just adds something else, adds another chip on our shoulder, adds to the hunger.
You got questions from Zoom?
Yeah, Trevin, Al Lewis down here at KVNU, and Logan. Can you just talk about playing Robinson, what you did against him? Because, his offensive type game, he used the pass tonight to really beat you because he didn't really score very well. What did you guys do against him defensively?
Yeah, he's definitely a talented player. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve. We thought that if we could just stop him from scoring, we'd slow him down, but he adjusted and he did get a couple good kickouts. Ultimately, the game plan was to get him a catch as far off the post as possible, try to make sure he wasn't as effective, because if he were to catch it within a couple feet, that's pretty often going to lead to 2 points. But you got to give him a lot of credit. He played well. He adjusted to our defense.
Trevin, Mark Greenwood with the Utah Statesman. Like you said, in that first half, you were playing your basketball, kind of dominating, scoring 24 points in the paint. And then it seemed like in the second half, Fresno kind of upped the physicality, and you guys struggled a little bit to match that. Only got 8 points in the paint there in the second half. Could you just speak anything to that physicality that they played with?
Yeah, they were tough. This is a perfect example of the better defensive team is going to win the game. They were able to make stops that we weren't able to repeat on our end of the floor. So, they played well.
Okay, that looks like it's going to be it with Trevin Dorius from Fresno again. West Point Dairy now hiring. Work for that company that's been in the Valley 25 years. 213-9595, their number. Again, that's West Point Dairy. And again, you can call Express Employment Professionals to work for them. So 6154. Again, Trevin Dorius was the man. I remember a year ago, it was a lot more fun to talk to him after the game at Fresno. Remember that a year ago? He played great there last year, too. In that first game. Remember, we had to go back there after we couldn't play the first game for COVID. We had to go back and play later in the year to finish it off.
Yeah, he clearly likes to go there on the road. What's difficult with this loss is we've won how many in a row?
We've won six in a row against Fresno and 5 in a row there.
Yeah.
So that's the first time after 5 straight wins there.
They came out ready to play in the second half, and I think that's the key. I chuckled when Trevin said, I wasn't in their locker room. Yeah. But they came out with more fire. And they were ready to go.
And maybe their defense on their ad wasn't good enough. I thought the Aggies just played well in the first half, and they didn't play well in the second half, ball handling-wise, to give them a chance to make some baskets. Yeah. They took away a lot of chances in this game because of their second half turnovers. I wrote down we had made 4 turnovers at the first media timeout to start the second half. We had 1 basket in that whole period of time. So look at all the chances you have not to score when they're doing their 9-point run and we get the 3-pointer by Ashworth.
The thing that's frustrating is looking at the last few games. Sometimes you get into a game and you just get beat. The other team is better than you are. They're aggressive. They come out and do what they need to. It seems like in the last couple of games, they've not beaten us.
You can't really say that anybody is a lot better than us until now. We've been right there. We just dropped to 1-4, first time in conference play in 35 years at 1-4 early in the season. More of it continues. Again, our text line will be available, 339-0321. And you can also call 753-KVNU after we hear from the coach, and that'll be coming up next on Game Day on KVNU. Aggies lose 61-54.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
It's that look in her eye when you get the first sign.
We make it personal,
could share it.
The new year isn't the only thing we're celebrating here at Alpine Home Medical. This year marks our 25th anniversary, and we couldn't be happier to serve you. Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. If you haven't shopped with us, we'd love for you to make us your one-stop shop for any of your home medical needs. They're always changing, so please don't hesitate to stop by any of our 10 locations throughout Utah and southern Idaho.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Or online at alpinehomemedical.com.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Imagine the other team has an ace in their starting lineup. He's fast, relentless, and his field goal percentage is 73%. What's your team's defensive strategy against a player like that? Well, that player is ransomware, and in 2020, 73% of ransomware attackers succeeded in holding their victims' data hostage. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
They're going to get Coach Odom here in a moment or two. 61-54, the final score. Utah State outscored 40-23 in the second half of the game. But again, it's still Utah State within one possession at 1:21, and Bairstow drove to make it 53-52 with 1:50 to go. And then the ball, again, what ended up happening, the Aggies, again, we looked off, they looked off Robinson, and again, with 1:21 to go, ball came off of Fresno. It looked like we were going to pick up the loose ball. We didn't pick up a loose ball, and eventually they got a three-pointer after Robinson made the pass to Holland with 1:07 to go to make it 56-52, and then Bean missed a hook shot. Then Hill got fouled, made 2 free throws, and then Bairstow finally made 2 free throws. Then you get the 5-second call, and the Aggies are 58-54, 33 seconds to go, and Bean misses, and the rebound is grabbed by the Aggies, and Rylan Jones has it ripped out of his arms, and eventually he had to foul again, and that was where the game was decided. That was our chance.
Yeah, that was the unfortunate thing in the second half. All the hustle plays went to Fresno.
Well, even in the first half, there were tipped balls that we didn't get when it looked like we get some fast breaks or we get some steals and couldn't pick up that loose ball at times when we tip it away.
Yeah, I go back to the first half, though, and, we talked about this before. When you're up by 16 in the first half, that sounds good, but you're on the road. You have to keep on pushing it. And the Aggies were not able to really kind of get it. This sounds silly, and listeners maybe.
As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date with the.
Okay, I got to turn that off. I have no idea why that's going on. Okay.
We didn't keep the pedal down, and they got back in. They got those 8 points, cut it to 10, and like you said, 9-3 at the beginning of the second half. But just it's been a lethargic performance as of late, and the Aggies, they came back from the win. They had the chance, like you said, to get it there in the second half, but there's just not that sharpness, the spark that we've seen earlier in the year.
And we went to Bean twice in the last 2 minutes on set plays for him. We got a wide open shot for him off that one inbounds play after the 5-second call, and he missed it. He has struggled these last 2 games. For him, he goes 4 for 13 and only 2 boards. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that stands off of the page for him. But again, we always rely on him for about his 18 to 20 points. Yeah. And if you get 18 or 20 points, you win the game.
Yeah.
In this one.
Well, even in this case, if you look at it, if he shoots 50%, which we expect to, if he goes 7 for 13, there's an additional 6 points. We win the game. There are a lot of things you can look at, but ultimately, I think you got to go down to the 3-point line. And once again, they struggled. Like you said, 2 for 12 on the night. You look at the last several games. Air Force, they're 19%. 1 for 9, 19. 1 for 19.
1 for 19.
4 for 16 against New Mexico. 4 for 18 Colorado State, 6 for 26 against Wyoming.
At least not as many threes tonight. They didn't settle for those. Again, if they're good shots, and like I had the coach before the game, Green light's still on for these guys who can shoot it because they shoot it in practice. But you know what? Shooting it in a game when you've been in this funk and you shoot it well in practice, first thing you think of is, okay, I got to make this one. Yeah. And when you start to do that, you don't make shots.
You're in trouble.
Exactly. You really are in trouble.
It's a matter of there's going to come a game, hopefully against Boise, where all of a sudden that rim goes from being
you rip a couple.
Golf size, hole size,
you rip a couple
to a giant bucket, and when that happens, the Aggies are going to.
You said there was a text.
Yeah, we had one text here, and this was from 2070. Talks about no shooters. No one we want to even take a three right now. We've been spoiled through the years, Sam, Quayle, JC, etc. And that's true. There's nobody that I think really is really comfortable taking that shot.
Well, Brock is a three-point shooter, and Ashworth is a three-point shooter. There's no doubt about that with their games.
But again, look what Ashworth did tonight. Mm-hmm. He 24 minutes, and he only takes 2 shots.
2 shots.
You got to have more for him.
Did have
to be able to
0 assists, 1 rebound, and 3 turnovers in the game. Playing as a starter tonight, it hasn't been as a starter. It hasn't been great for Stephen. Okay, here's the coach coming in now post game.
Recording.
Yep. So here comes Coach Ryan Odom post game.
Okay, we have head coach Ryan Odom. Thoughts on this one?
Yeah, tough loss here for us against Fresno State. I thought the key to that game, obviously Robinson's a load to deal with. I thought our guys, Trevin and Brandon in particular, did a nice job. I thought Brandon got off to a great start. On him was a big reason why we had a lead. His defense, our other guys' defense, in terms of keeping him off balance, was certainly important. We stayed out of foul trouble in that first half. We're certainly worried about that. I think, obviously our offense, some of that was turning into offense for us, our defense. And, unfortunately they ended the half. We were worried when, we were right at that, getting ready to be at foul number 7 with 4.5 to go. And in that timeout, we talked a lot about, still playing physical without fouling. And we fouled them a couple of times, and they ended up, getting some free throws while they were struggling scoring there. And then I felt like the beginning of that second half was important too. Our turnovers in this particular game, and they do a really good job of raking at your ball and going after it and keeping you off balance. And, too many times we were dribbling into traffic and losing it and not stopping. We think they're coming at us, and then all of a sudden they're feigning out and going to another guy and just not reading the situations correctly. And normally we're pretty good at that. And I think that was certainly a key to the game, was them, getting control of the game, with their defense. And that's just something that we've got to improve upon.
Yeah, it seemed like it's a different half. First half, couldn't ask for a better start. First half,
yeah,
got out, shooting the ball really well. I mean, they were 11 to start the game.
And they were all inside baskets, right? I mean, we were attacking the paint, and that was certainly a focus of ours. But the risk against Fresno State is like the more you drive it in there, they run at your ball, and they're physical guys, and they come after it, and they got us a couple of times. And then they got us into some situations where we're making some chancy passes, and those are things that we've got to control, a little bit better. It's unfortunate, but certainly film and practice, is going to be helpful for us, going forward. This team's still close, but we're just not quite good enough right now.
You could have asked for a better start on Orlando. He was 1 for 6, I think, in the first half.
Yeah.
He wasn't shooting the ball real well. Seemed frustrated at times. You guys are doing a really good job keeping him off balance.
Yeah, I thought Brandon and Trevin did a really nice job, and our helpers as well. Justin was, on 23 and was able to kind of get in there and make some plays, stole one, the post feeds at one point. And so I think the game plan was right. The second half, our offense left us a little bit because their defense was picked up and their pressure picked up. And we got a little bit tentative with the ball. And then, he began to really read our defense a lot better in the second half, whether we were coming or not coming. And, he found some key shooters, for them. One was in the zone, 25 in the corner, 20 seconds on the clock, side out of bounds. I mean, that's a 1-point game. It's a big play for us. Can't let that three get off, at that point. They were right down to the wire there. And then he makes another one, after we scored in the right in front of their bench, as well. So that kind of sealed it, in a lot of ways for him.
Don't have much time now. You got to turn around and get home.
Yeah.
48 hours, you got to play another really good team.
Yeah, I mean, Boise's excellent. I mean, Boise, actually beat this team earlier in the season, at Boise. And, they've got a veteran team, well coached, we prepped for them, obviously, because we felt like we were playing them, and then it gets canceled. So pretty familiar with their roster and kind of how they're playing. Very well balanced. Going to see another really stout defense in Boise. And then, they've got some guys similar to Wyoming in that they'll try to, drive you down to the paint and take advantage of their size. And so we're going to have to, really, really fight hard, to keep it out of there. Any other questions?
Yeah, Coach Al from KVNU. Key play in the game. You get the 5-second call, and you run an inbounds play, and Justin's wide open on that shot, and then missed it. And then you get the rebound, and they take it away from you at that point. That was a key play.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I was proud of the guys for getting the 5-second count, and then we got a good look there for Justin. And he can make those. We know he's going to make those. I don't ever want him to be tentative. That's a shot that he's made his whole career, and we end up getting the rebound, and then again. These guys are good, and on defense. I mean, they really do a good job of attacking your ball, and we've got to pull it in a little bit tighter and be a little bit cleaner with it.
Hey, Coach, John with KVNU, only went to the line 13 times tonight. Was that a reflection of the game, how it was called, and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just the way it was played. I mean, it was 7-1 at one point in the second half. 7 fouls on them, one on us, and so as it went down to the wire, how that works. I mean, it eventually evens itself out, and so it was more the story of the game was more about Fresno State's ability to impose its will on the game through its defense, and Robinson getting comfortable playing against our defense and making the right basketball plays. I mean, that's really what it came down to. And, for us, obviously a tough pill to swallow, but not very complex.
Coach, one other thing for me, Al, why teams are shooting great free throw percentages against you? Everybody in the conference is just killing you at the foul line when they get to the foul line, too.
Yeah, we better keep them off of there.
Yeah.
I mean, 18 for 20, good gosh. Yeah. And I think a couple of our key free throw misses in that time where, when you're right at that point, a little bit like BYU, right? You're right at that point where it can go either direction and you're teetering a little bit. And, you end up missing a couple of free throws there. That can be deadly.
Yeah, you missed some of the point. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, obviously you're not going to make excuses, but some of the half-court struggles tonight, one of the big things is that I noticed was just Brock Miller's absence. Is that something that you're recognizing that's contributing to the offensive struggles?
Yeah, I mean, certainly when you don't have Brock, you don't have RJ. I mean, two guys that, were averaging over 20 plus minutes a game, right, are key players for us. When we were playing our best, those guys were in there a lot of times. And now all of a sudden, roles change, and we've inserted Sean, and he's done really well. Imagine if he wasn't there, right? Like he's really filled in quite nicely. Max, I thought, had an excellent game today. He drew 7 fouls, in the game, and I thought he gave us some really good minutes. He's a big guy, for a guard, and I thought we saw some really good things from him, and so. We're hopeful to get Brock back at some point, but yeah, absolutely. We miss him. He's a senior. He's a leader. He's an emotional guy. Right. And so, of course, we love watching him bang threes and play the defense that he does and with the intensity that he does. but more than anything, we miss his just him being out there with the guys, and being on the court, because his leadership on the court, is second to none, and puts a lot of pressure on Bean, without him out there. Bean's doing an awesome job, in that regard.
Hey, we'll wrap it up with that. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. And there's the coach, again, post-game. And it's brought to you by My Mattress. Again, isn't it time you sleep exceptionally? It is time. Right now, you sleep exceptionally. Right, John?
It is. I'm ready.
So am I. Again, My Mattress, the sponsor of, again, Coach Odom post-game. And really, again, the Aggies have now played 5 conference games. And with a move or two, a play or two differently, they could be 5-0, and they are 1-4. That's really, how it is. It's not like they're getting badly outplayed or battled by anybody. Mm-hmm. Maybe second half they got a little out-battled in this game by Fresno State, because Fresno did notch it up after they had struggled in the first half against us. But I think the Aggies also did a good job in the first half and made them struggle, I think.
Well, they played extremely well in the first half, and I got to be honest, I'm a little perplexed why they kind of stopped going inside. They were having a lot of success there.
And there had to be, he told us before the game, they are really good at keeping you out of the paint. Mm-hmm. And the Aggies get 24 points of their 31 in the first half in the paint.
So clearly doing something well. But the flip side, on their end, they're going to say, okay, hey, we can't allow that to happen anymore.
And we did adjusting, or they shuffled somebody or did something different.
But, it comes back to what would have opened the paint up in the second half is hitting some three-pointers. And I hate to keep beating that dead horse, but they've got to start making some buckets.
And when you're 2 for 12 and you're 19% and all, you really almost have to eventually say, we're not going to take a three. We're going to make it sure we get the ball inside or into the paint or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. They're a smart team, and the thing is, again, it seems like we talk about this a lot. Talk about Robinson. Robinson was very solid on the night. Didn't shoot well, but still 13 boards and made some really good passes. He gets 6 assists. But you have to look at other guys stepped up for him. Holland had a solid game, but Stroud, who, he's a player.
Stroud averaged 12 last year. He hasn't played well this year, but he is an offensive guy.
And tonight he comes in and he does it.
He really killed us.
So it's tough.
He did. Jeff wants to join with us at Aggie Call postgame. Jeff, go ahead. Hello, Jeff. Are you there? Jeff, are you there?
Maybe we'll get him back here, and I'll let you play around with the board.
I don't think I can do anything else that I've already done.
But, Coach...
Jeff, are you there?
Maybe not. No, but Coach made a good point. It's tough to look at this loss, and again, you're right, Al. We're in the game. We had a chance to do it. But, let's pick the good things. Bairstow is playing solid. He had a great first half. He kind of disappeared a little bit in the second half. Got a bucket there towards the end. Again, Dorius, I thought, clearly the player of the game tonight. He was solid offensively. 2 big dunks, a little more aggressive. When you're 7 foot and you're as big as he is, you got to go to the basket. Whoop, I guess Jeff's gone. You've got to go hard, and he did a good job with that. He played good defense on Robinson.
8.7 rebounds in his 14 minutes. He's got to be the guy who probably did more tonight than anybody
without a doubt.
For the Aggies.
And Coach was pleased with Shulga's performance, and even though he didn't put points on the board,
he got 4 free throws.
He was aggressive, and that's good.
I'm going to take a break, and then we'll see if we can get Jeff on the line. And the text line's still available, 339-0321, 6154, the final, back after this.
Reason to have a clean and healthy home. This is Darryl with ChemDry of Northern Utah. Let us come and make your carpets, rugs and upholstery and hardwood as clean as it can be. Platinum certified with the Carpet and Rug Institute and Indoor Air Quality Association. ChemDry's hot carbonation and quick dry times will leave your homes healthy and ready to combat the cold and flu season. We're a company that you can trust. Call ChemDry of Northern Utah.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
Ascent Aesthetics is a premier aesthetic practice. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette of Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat are proud to offer you a professional aesthetics team. The Ascent team is passionate about education, best techniques, products, procedures, and services. If you're looking for help with Botox, fillers, microneedling, laser hair removal, medical-grade facials, or skincare, Ascent will help you feel confident, beautiful, and refreshed. See which Ascent service is right for you and learn more at AscentAesthetics.com. That's AscentAesthetics.com.
It's the perfect time to get rid of that old wood stove or put an insert in that old fireplace because the state of Utah's wood stove and fireplace change-out program is back. Advanced Fireplace and Stove says let the government foot the bill up to $3,800 towards your new Heat and Glow gas insert or fireplace or Vermont casting stove. Do you live in Idaho? No worries. Idaho's change-out program is in full swing. They can assist in the Idaho wood change-out too. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, 435-753-3734 or at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
More analysis of today's game. It's KVNU Game Day. Here's the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis and John Russell.
And 61-54, another disappointing loss for the Aggies, again at Fresno State, where they had a 16-point first-half lead, led at the half by 10. They get outscored 40-23 in the second half and lose it by 7 points. Let's try Jeff again. Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We got it working finally. Go ahead, Jeff, with your comments or your thoughts.
Well, I always go to every Aggie game. And the other night when we played Wyoming, right, and it came down to the last 20 seconds, that was an incredible play call by their coach to get Aggie, how do you call his name?
EK. Graham EK.
Because everybody in the gym thought it's going to be a pick and roll, and they got him going to the left. And Dorius actually kind of didn't do great, but it was just a great play call, and it was just a great play by a good player. That's so you can't say we should have double teamed or whatever. I thought it was a great call by that coach.
Okay, because the Aggies thought it was probably going to Maldonado on the pick and roll, like you're talking about, and they were doubling some of that, and they were hoping that was the way they were going. That's what the coach said after.
Yes, exactly. I just thought it was a great play call by their coach. Just to get him an ISO driving. Yep. Exactly. So what I'm just saying, like that game, like Ashworth started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tonight he started again. Mm-hmm. And some of our players, like what's Ashworth's stats over the last two games?
Let's see. I've got the Wyoming box score.
Well, tonight
I'm not picking on him because I like him.
Steven was 0 for 3 the other night. He is 1 for 2, so he's gone 1 for 5 shooting the ball and scored 3 points in the two games.
In how many minutes, Al?
And he had 34 the other night, and he had 24 tonight. So
60 minutes.
Yep, maybe. 60 minutes.
And that's what you know me, Al. I played, and you have to produce as a player. You can put yourself in great positions, the coach can, but you have to produce. And we're getting, you look at these other teams. We have to up our talent in the Mountain West. And I'm not picking on him, but, I played, Al. You have to produce at some point. And his stat line and some of the others are pretty weak.
They are, and again, my deal, I talked about it before the game, and you probably didn't hear it. My deal was, I said, we're always talking about, Ashworth needed a game like this to get started. Ryland Jones needed the game like Wyoming to get going. R.J. Idlerock needed the New Mexico game to get going. It's like these, and then you have usually a Justin Bean who's pretty consistent. Now, they've really gone after him the last little while, and obviously in conference play, it's going to be harder to score.
They have to go after him because he's the only one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Look at production in these last two games. Trevin Dorius scored 2 points against Wyoming, but he had 11 minutes and played EK as tough as anybody with 5 rebounds. Tonight he played 14 minutes and he had 8 points and 7 rebounds while he was in there against Robinson. That's where you produce. Yeah.
That's production.
Yep.
So I played at Utah State, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I would have these numbers like some of these guys had, I would have been buried on the bench. At some point, players have to make plays.
Yep.
You have to produce stats. And I know it sounds crazy, but it just makes me mad when these guys get all these minutes and they have the freedom to do whatever they want, and then they flatline on the stats. You have to be better than that as a player.
Yep.
Not the coach, as a player.
And the coach also hasn't restricted anybody shooting threes, and they can't shoot threes into the ocean right now, this team. So that's really a struggle. Yeah.
They have free reign to do what they want, and then I hear Ashworth's stats, and I'm kind of in shock. Like, I'm sorry, I've gone on too long.
Okay.
I think I'm speaking the truth. But anyway.
Thanks, Jeff.
Players make plays, like Gary Anderson.
That's absolutely right. The players have to make the plays for you to win, and that's where all great coaches have had great players making plays. That's what's happened.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jeff, appreciate you joining with us.
Okay. All right.
Thanks a lot. Again, 6154. We got one little segment. We got to get in one more commercial break, and then we'll have one last segment here on Game Day on this Tuesday, going into Wednesday in just a moment.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from S.E. Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to seneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. What happens when an appliance breaks down and the cost of the repair is more than the appliance value? You're stuck with a service call charge at most places, not at Daryl's. With our exclusive Under One Roof loyalty program, we discount the service call diagnostic charge when you decide to buy new from us instead of the repair. That's the Daryl's difference, because service always comes first. Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
The Riverwoods Conference Center is the center in Cache Valley for business, entertainment, and special events. Whether you're hosting a large or small event, you have the choice of inside with all the new modern interior renovations or outside along the scenic banks of the beautiful Logan River. The Riverwoods is an ideal choice, offering seamless planning, easy catering coordination, and will make your event as professional or as beautiful as desired. To book your next event or for more info, visit theriverwoods.com or call 435-750-5151. We'll see you at the Riverwoods.
Stephen, stop dragging your feet. Don't you give me that look. You've had a bad attitude all day. Now, look, I know you'd rather be with your friends right now, but this has to be done, and either you start cooperating or I'm going to start taking things away from you. And I think you know what that means, don't you, Stephen?
Yes, honey, I do.
All right.
Okay.
Watch it.
Bigger isn't always better. At Cast-A-Lite, you'll choose from a huge selection of pavers and receive help from experts. You'll see just how easy it is to do it yourself. For brick, block, rock, paver, and tile, go where the pros go. Online at castalite.com.
This is Mark Thurston from White Pine Funeral Services. On behalf of all of us here at White Pine, we want to thank the community of Cache Valley for your support this past year. Thank you for selecting us as a silver winner for the Best of Northern Utah. We look forward to many more years of working with you here in our community. We know you have a choice, and we hope you will consider White Pine Funeral Services. If you have questions about cremation, funerals, or planning ahead, please contact us or visit whitepinefunerals.com.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
More analysis about today's game and your chance to talk about it. It's KVNU Game Day with Aggie Call. Here's the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis and John Russell.
Another tough loss in the conference, third loss in a row, and 1-4 the start. Like I said, you got to go back to 87 when I looked it up today to see the last time the Aggies were 1-4 to start a conference season. So that's 35 years ago. That's a long, long time of good basketball to have to do this. And again, hard for coaches and players to put up with, hard for all of us Aggie fans, because again, each of these games could have been won. They're not bad blowouts or anything like that, but the Aggies lose tonight 61-54. John, you said there was something else in the text.
Unfortunately not there. And unfortunately, the way we saw the first half go, I think we felt good. Hey, we had turned
playing
some
great.
things around.
It's like they played relaxed. They changed the way they go at things. They were attacking. They were playing good defense. 29-13 was the score, and then they did foul Robinson, and he finally scored at the foul line. Then he got he went 1 of 2 first time, then got 2 of 2, and then they finally hit that three-point shot, and then they get one last layup in the first half before Ryland Jones hits the shot towards the end of the half. 31-21 at intermission, and it got worse in the second half.
And that's where our texter, this comes from 5180, and he says, first few minutes of the second half, there were several USU turnovers.
4 of them
within
at the first
quick
media
succession.
time. Yep.
And just to help me understand, was it poor ball control or good defense?
There was defense involved in it, but also I thought they got a little bit sloppy with some of them. Remember, one of them, Horvath dribbled it off his foot as he tried to go to the left side, and I think there was another one where somebody tried to lob to somebody on the baseline and it went a little bit too long or high.
And unfortunately, the Aggies you got to come out at the beginning of the second half ready to go, and it seemed like Fresno was more ready. Mentally, maybe the Aggies weren't ready to go. Fresno played good defense, and that was the momentum they needed.
I think they were just thinking, hey, we played the first half this way, we'll go out and do the second half. Yeah. So, okay, let's see. We need to mention the stats. They had Holland with 13 and Stroud with 14. So 2 guys scored more than Robinson. Now, Holland lately's averaged about 18 in the last little while. So he's expected, but he hit those big threes on the passes from Robinson. Robinson had 11 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists in the game in 34 minutes. So he played a good all-around game. And Stroud's a good offensive player. 4 out of 8. In his 21 minutes, he had 14 points. Whitaker hit the 3 in the first half. And then it was 9 for Calamario, who played down at Wasatch Academy here in the state of Utah. Campbell had 4 and Hill had 7. They shot 39% and beat the Aggies. They shot 57% second half, though. They did make 7 of 23s, which is not great, but it's better than 2 of 12, what the Aggies did. But 18 of 20. The Aggies' free throw percentage defense is not very good. Everybody is beating the Aggies at the foul line.
And I love what Coach said. Well, just keep them off the line.
Yeah, you got to. That's the way. Aggies hit 8 of 13 at the foul line. So, again, some of that 1-and-1, Horvath missed 2, Shulga missed the front end. You add in, you keep that, make those 2 and make it 11, and maybe don't lose the lead and all that kind of stuff. Don't play from behind again in the last few minutes like the Aggies had to. 22 of 47 for the Aggies, 47%, one of their better shooting games. They're only shooting about 43 in conference play. Bairstow's 5 for 10 for 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Ashworth, we mentioned his numbers. Horvath had 9. He had 9 in the first half. He had 6 rebounds. He got 3 in the second half of play. Jones had 8 points first half. He ended up with 8, 4 of 9, 0 for 4 from 3, 1 rebound, only 2 assists. Now, again, the Aggies' passing wasn't for assists tonight. And then Bean, 4 of 13, missed a 3. He had 2 of 3 free throws, 2 rebounds, and he ended up with the 36 minutes and 10 points. Shulga had 4 points, and Dorius, we mentioned his numbers as well. So that's the final stats for Cache Valley Bank. They've expanded now to Preston, so they're all over the valley, again, with great locations. They always bring you our stats on the postgame. So Boise beat Air Force tonight, 62-56. They are at the top of the conference. They didn't make a field goal in the last 5 minutes and still won the game. Air Force was coming at them. It's Day Jennerhart, the freshman, led them with 19 points. Oklahoma lost by 3 to Kansas tonight, the team that we beat earlier in the year. And ever since the first part of the season, when we played Penn, played Oklahoma, we made big plays, we made some stops, and we won close games. And the last month and a half in close games, we haven't made the big plays to win.
No, we've not. And this is a good conference. Let's not look past it. A good conference, but unless the Aggies want to play an extra game in the tournament, they better get things turned around.
9th place is where they were going into tonight, and losing might make them still 9th or 10th. So it's Thursday night. We'll be on at 6. The game's at 7 in the Spectrum. No TV. So if you don't go to the game, you have to watch it on the Mountain West video stream, I understand. So go to the Spectrum, and there should be tickets available for it.
Indeed.
John, we'll talk to you then.
I'll be there.
And that's it for the sponsors, and we appreciate the texters and Jeff who called in, and anybody else, feel free to call the next time around. We'll do Aggie postgame on Thursday night. The Aggies lose at Fresno 61-54. We say good morning on a Wednesday. Let's see. That's not going to fire. So it's KVNU Logan with 23 degrees, and it is 12 midnight.